Hey guys, Dustin here, CEO of Sixthreezero. Today I'm going to talk to you about electric bikes for cheap. Where to find them, what's cheap, and is it a good value? All right, so today we're going to talk about electric bikes for cheap. Now, I don't really like to use the word cheap. Cheap can have a lot of meanings. Cheap can mean bad or not good. Cheap can also mean inexpensive. So let's just talk about electric bikes for cheap. So I'm going to first talk about new bikes and new e-bikes for cheap, where to find them, what does it mean, what does the price mean, is it bad, is it dangerous, things of that nature. So I would say when you're looking for an electric bike, a cheap electric bike price would be, like really cheap would be $500 to $700, maybe $500 to $800. Now, why is it cheap? It's cheap because of the components they use, specifically of the battery and the motor. Now, again, when I say cheap, I'm not necessarily saying bad, but of course, anything that's less expensive isn't going to be the highest quality. So in the $500 to $800 range, is it going to be something usable? Well, it depends on what you're going to use it for, how long you're going to use it. If you're going to do any sort of substantial amount of riding, I wouldn't recommend an e-bike, $500 to $800 necessarily. Now, $800, you're getting a lot closer. As you get to $800 to $1,000, a lot of great bikes. It's more in that $500 to $650 range where the brakes aren't going to be the highest quality brakes, the motors and the battery. So you may not get a long lifetime out of the motor. You may not get a long lifetime out of the battery. You may not get a lot of torque out of that motor. And the brakes may not give you the stopping power that you really need or want depending on your riding. Now, if you feel like you're honestly not going to use the bike very much, maybe a couple times a year just to go from here to there, no hills, $500, $700 electric bike is a good option for you. So where do you buy these electric bikes for cheap is the question. I've seen definitely on Walmart and Amazon, there's a lot of bikes in that range, and they're really sort of name brand or off brand, and a lot of them now are actually coming direct from the factory. So a lot of factories that are based overseas have put warehouses in and been selling direct to consumer. That's really how you're going to find an electric bike for cheap, specifically on Amazon and Walmart. Most of the name brands based here in the US that have a really intricate customer service team or offices, that's really going to drive the price up. But that after sales support is important, especially for electric bikes. If that's something you need or want, some people don't. Again, totally, your choosing. But again, setting up that infrastructure drives costs up a little bit. So, when you look at a cheaper electric bike, there's reasons for it, not just related to the quality of the bike, but also after sales service, the setup, the arrangement. Can you talk to somebody? Is there a warehouse you can send things back to? And I do know, maybe not all, but a lot of those companies in the $500 to $700 range may not have a great American-based infrastructure. Again, just my opinion. I've actually ridden some of the electric bikes in that price point, and they're not bad. I think it's still questionable, the lifetime value, how they're going to perform, for the next 1 to 2 years. I've yet to personally, ride one of them for that long, so I can't make a good judgment on it. Locally, if you're looking to buy an electric bike for cheap locally, that's going to probably be a little more challenging. I don't think right now Walmart carries electric bikes in store. I could be wrong. They may be starting to do that now. I'm guessing over the next few months they're going to get more in-store electric bike inventory, but it's hard now because things are selling through very fast. I would say if you're looking for an electric bike for cheap, check Craigslist, check OfferUp, check Facebook Marketplace. You may be able to get a lightly used, more well-known brand bike like a Sixthreezero, but save a little bit of money because someone didn't want it, or they upgraded, or they just moved out of state. That could happen as well. So, and then Sixthreezero bikes, we're not the cheapest bike. We put time and effort into the look, the feel, the design of our e-bikes, also the motors and the brakes. We're not looking to be a cheap electric bike. We're looking to be a good value, something that will last you. We have a full team here. We can take your questions, send you replacement parts, basically just be here to support you throughout your electric bike ownership experience. And that's something that also plays into the price of our e-bikes, and also performance. We want to make sure, you know, that the bike's working, so we have good brakes, good motors, good batteries, things like that. So that sums up my thoughts on electric bikes for cheap. If you have any other questions or thoughts or anything, or you disagree with me, totally fine. Comment below. I'd love to hear it. Happy to address other thoughts in different videos as well. You can also reach out to us, the team at sixthreezero.com, or call us 310-982-2877. But don't forget, take the body fit quiz on our website. This is our proprietary algorithm that will fit your life and your body to the perfect electric bike. It'll take all the questions you answer and recommend exactly the electric bike that's right for you. I know it can be challenging to look at all the options out there, the batteries, the motors, and to know what's right. Our algorithm will do it for you. Also, we have a 365-day return policy. If you don't love your electric bike in the first 365 days, send it back, no questions asked, no money out of your pocket. All right, so don't forget, it's your journey, your experience. Enjoy the ride.